5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the I Digress podcast. Today we have quite a wet day. It's got some flood warnings. Get your wellies on, bring a brolly, and I don't know, cover your dog in some blankets. Something nice, get a treat, peanut butter or whatnot. Today, my co-host, your favorite cooker, green tea drinker, sometimes has coffee, sometimes has decaf. He's ginger, he's got blue eyes. It's Neil Methvin.
I have green eyes.
Your eyes change colour depending on your mood. It's, I don't know, it's a weird thing.
Good afternoon, anyway.
And, as I'm sure you're excited to hear, it is our returning guest, another female. Yes, the STEM scientist, the award kinda wins some stuff, not really. She is one of the top 10 panelists of something. It is Victoria Neal.
Wow, that's like a really depreciating introduction there. Thanks.
You're back on the show. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Excited, but also it's weird being back again. I guess thanks for inviting me.
How's the weather up there? You know, because you're so
Pretty much
tall.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same. No surprises there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, and you know, like the audio quality, we've managed to take it in strides, especially because you're sitting in your room and this is all over Zoom.
Yeah,
Yes.
I bought a mic just for this.
Yes, we're not holding a gun to her or coercing her with a script. And on that note, let's dive straight in!
I digress.
Alright guys, we're gonna come into our first topic of the day. It is your news topical update.
What was that?
I don't know, I'm just probably gonna put on some like BBC sort of music
Oh,
in the background like again. Yeah. And then it's just like, today in the updates, ice cream in Edinburgh, racial connotations. Margaret Ferrier, is she a villain? Is she a good person? Who knows? Trump gets COVID, and this new game Among Us is causing all the craze.
I'm glad that the news actually do have like a teleprompter and it's all a script, because you read in there, you were just like, is she a bit of villain? It's causing all the craze.
Honestly.
Chocolate, is it, or fucking, what'd you say, ice cream, is it a bit race or something? Like, you absolutely ruined that.
I know.
Dude, this
The
is what
stutter came
happens
on.
when you hang around someone long enough, you start to pick up their mannerisms, and I'm developing a stutter.
Yeah. I think you should have done it more like Fox News. You know,
What,
just have
just
to be like racist ice cream in your neighborhood.
Just ruined the message of it completely.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah,
she
yeah.
totally
Margaret
linked people.
Ferrier, COVID transmitter, biological warfare. Who
Yes,
knows?
now you're getting it. That's the spirit.
Okay, I got you. So, I feel like that first topic can ring a few alarm bells, but really what I want to say to it is that back in the good old days of 1950s, 60s Edinburgh, Scotland,
This is racist ice cream you're talking about.
racist ice cream.
Got it,
Essentially, people in Edinburgh who really didn't like people of colour, they wanted to come up with as many connotations to it to remind them of how much they enjoyed being racist. So what they did was they named specific ice cream, accessories with different names. So if you wanted to get a chocolate wafer, you'd refer to it as a black man. Or if you wanted to get strawberry sauce, you'd say, I want some monkey's blood. So if you were to get, say, a chocolate wafer with 2 scoops of vanilla and some strawberry sauce on its top, instead of saying that, you'd be like, of a black man covered in white man, dribbled in monkey's blood.
Wow.
And that was a legit thing.
Why though?
When did this stop happening?
Oh, so like pretty much.
It hasn't. Rob just has a really hard time at work sometimes.
I bet he goes and orders this. Like, this is actually his order.
No, do you know what's scary is like some people come in at the age of like in their 40s or 50s and they'll come into the store and they'll be like, oh, you'll never guess what I used to call that. And I'm like, I have a feeling that I do.
I feel like I don't
But why
want
is
to.
it a good idea to say it to you? Like, obviously, you'd find... I mean, I'm guessing you'd find it...
Oh, I kind of... I laugh, but it is offensive, and I do find it funny because, like, they say it in a sort of, like, proud way, like, oh, do I have news for you? And I'm like, wow, I just want to do my job, please. Can you just not?
I actually forgot you worked in an ice cream store. This all makes sense.
Sometimes I forget to.
I think you just try to.
Well, you know,
Just
there's
doesn't
that.
turn
It's
up.
temporary.
He's like, oh, at least I got out of bed. I left the house to go, but... I was
temporary gig, you know.
Temporary, you know. But, you know, I mean, at least there's perks. There's
do you
diabetes.
get free...
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, no, I do get free ice cream.
With monkey blood?
With monkey blood.
Ooh.
Occasionally I get a black man. And the best part is that one of my colleagues was actually got asked this. They were just like, could I get a black man? And she had to sit there for a while.
Rob!
It's like, where is
There's
he?
somebody asking for you.
I'm
How
just
much?
like,
How much?
I'm just sitting there looking at him like, are we doing this here? I might need to go in the toilets. I don't know, £500.
You couldn't afford it, honey.
Like,
You're like, what's my rate again?
oh, geez,
Not done this in a while.
Again. Oof. And I'm just like, to go out of your way to order ice cream, of all things, especially in Edinburgh.
Yeah, why did they want to associate that with ice cream? Was there a reason?
That's
People
the
used to
thing.
really like being racist, though. People used to really enjoy
Oh,
it.
yeah. And I guess they just really enjoyed ice cream. And this seems to be just very localized to Edinburgh as well. And you wouldn't go to many cities in Scotland and say those and people know what you're meaning. But
I think I would ask for like a 99.
yeah, 99
Or like a flake.
That makes sense.
You
Because,
know?
it used to be costing 99 pence.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just weird. I thought it was a bit of a funny one to bring up.
You still get 99s now.
Yeah,
Like-
but they're like £2.
Oh, yeah,
But that's
people
not a
call
99
them-
then.
Yeah.
Is this like adjusted for inflation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they call them 99s, but then they're just like, yeah, that'll be £2.50.
Can I get a 99 with a bit of fuck me over? Like, take £3 worth.
At least I get that. But like monkey blood, I'd be like, maybe not.
I mean, maybe that's not supposed to be right. Maybe that just does mean monkey blood.
No, but why associated with monkeys? Like, why not, like, just...
Oh no!
Just like, can I
I
just
looked
have-
this up. They like tried to enforce the idea that the monkey blood was the blood coming from the black man, and
And
we are
we
all
thought-
monkeys.
And we thought eating it was a great idea.
No, because what?
I mean, it's not actually it's not actually
No, I know.
monkey blood. But
But I mean, what brings you more joy than eating ice cream and thinking of the drained monkey blood of a black man?
you're right, Rob. Very little does.
And that's just
You're so right.
1960s in Edinburgh. Welcome to Scotland. Great as long as you don't like ice cream. But
So what you're saying is you want to bring this back? Is that what you're?
Oh no, I just thought it was an
Okay.
interesting topic to bring up, but just to let you know, little things
interesting
like this
fact.
happen now and then. But at least we're not shooting at people, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Well, I mean, I learned something today.
So basically, anyone who buys ice cream is with a chocolate wafer and strawberry sauce is technically endorsing racism.
Well, I
Simple
mean, as
as.
long
That's a pretty bold
So-
claim, Victoria.
Endorsing.
You're endorsing racism.
I would say maybe
Not for the first time. I'd just like to point out on this podcast.
maybe just call it a chocolate wafer and strawberry sauce. That's all I ask. And maybe not remind me of what it used to be called when you
Yeah.
come into the store. That'd be great. That's small things I ask for in
Yeah.
this world, but
Just be a good guy.
just
That's it.
just come
be a
in,
good
take
person.
your order, pay, leave.
You didn't seem very resistant to offering yourself up to that
I know.
guy who wanted to buy you.
But that was just a joke because of the sexual connotations. But I think he didn't get the sexual connotations of it. He just looked at me
He just
very
wanted to purchase you.
bizarre. Yeah,
Wow.
he just didn't see anything wrong with it, and then I had to just sit there for a while until he referred to it as a chocolate wafer, and I was like, you do know what it's called?
You know what it's called. You just
You
chose.
could have just ignored him.
You just
like,
chose
just
to be
seen him.
offensive.
Yeah. No, I asked him to leave. Like,
You just like looked at him and be like, dude, we just sell ice cream, man.
yeah,
Right.
no, I mean, I tell this in a very funny story, but when it happened, I was just like, yeah, I'm not selling anything to you. Bye.
Yeah, I mean,
Good. At
that's
least you
fair.
stood your ground.
Yeah.
Fair.
What ground I had behind a counter
Yeah.
of all 18 treats.
Hey, counters make you have power. I
Yeah,
swear.
for sure.
It's great though.
It's like if you're ever serving people as well, if there's like a bar between you and like a punter, then anything that you say like just has so much more like bravado.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
getting past it.
Yeah.
They're just trying to reach over and you're like, you can't get me.
It's great audio content.
Yeah, I know. No one can see me doing the classic two. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm doing the 2 thumbs up.
The 2 thumbs
You
up.
didn't have any
Don't worry
thumbs
about
at all. You didn't have any thumbs at all. Jesus.
Wow.
Right, so
Okay,
moving on
Moving on.
to Margaret Ferrier. So is that am I right in saying as well that she was confirmed positive with COVID-19
Yes.
and then basically had a round trip to and from Parliament from Glasgow.
Yes. And she is an MP.
And
of Glasgow.
and she was on the train without a mask on,
Yes.
despite being positive for coronavirus.
Yes. Those are the facts.
Wow.
Seems good to me. Doesn't see anything wrong with that.
It's like, so firstly, she's tested positive for it. She shouldn't be leaving her house. And secondly, she's on public transport, travelling to, well, I guess it's kind of an important journey, but she's on a train without a mask on. I didn't actually know about this. So when did this happen?
Oh, last week.
Last
This
week.
is like super recent. Her name is probably still in the news and papers, and Nicola Sturgeon's already asked for her to
Step
resign,
down.
but she's refusing to resign. She's actually sort of holding her power up and just being like, "Yeah, I'm not giving up my job," and she's kind of trying to apologize for all the obvious signs she shouldn't have done what she did. And I was just thinking, maybe she should have just got away with it by saying she was just performing a routine eye test, and she just wanted to take the long journey to make sure her eyes are working.
Yeah. For sure.
Kind of like a good old big boy, what's his face?
She is defying calls for her to step down from her post. Yeah, and people are trying to get Nicola Sturgeon to basically back a petition for her to step down as well, which is apparently not happening.
See, in Parliament, can people not just get fired? I know that she's being asked to step down, but can it not just be a case that they're like, you disobeyed literally the
That's
law?
the thing.
Well, they're like elected officials, so they
Yeah.
don't really have like a boss.
Like the people is the boss, and the only way to knock him down is every 4 or 5 years
Something
for
like
the
that.
elections.
Yeah.
And that's the only way she can be put, unless she commits some sort of like
Crime, I think.
crime
Yeah.
against humanity or some sort of like war crime. Then she can't be removed from post unless the people do some sort of snap vote for that constituency. But that's effort and time. And
Well, I
she's just
think
like,
she can
"Nah."
be. I think she can be put out, like if there is like a petition or something. I think she can pretty much be
Yeah.
removed from office. But
But I would imagine it'd have to be localized to her constituency.
yeah, probably.
Like if enough people vote to have her removed, then she can be removed. But there's no person like, it's not like Boris can be like, you're fired. But that's
On the same sort of note, though, some good news. Some people could say, obviously not us. We're not. We don't, pass our political views on the show.
Oh,
but
not
Donald J. Trump has coronavirus.
Yeah.
What a shame! What a shame!
yeah.
And he's he's like what 74 or something. He's in
Yeah.
and he's overweight. Like he's in a lot of at risk groups here. So.
And low income.
Did he not? So did he not have it before as well? Because
No.
did he not visit a hospital and then he went, or was it Boris? It was Boris,
think
wasn't
you're-
it?
yeah,
Boris
He
Johnson.
visited
Yeah,
a
the
hospital
other
and he didn't
Bojo
have
got it,
any
yeah.
like protection on,
Yeah.
and then he got it.
Well, no, but Boris had it, and then he was like getting interviewed about it afterwards or something. He was like, after I was finished, I went round, I shook everybody's hands.
Other fat, blonde, bubbling idiot. who's in
Congratulated
power.
everyone for looking after me, and I shook all their hands perfectly. You're like, don't do that.
To be honest, I'm surprised Trump didn't have it before because you are a president, you're going around.
And he fucking
Shaking
Well, and he
hands, not wearing
refuses to wear a
masks.
mask as well
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah. So I'm surprised it took this long, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably all those like bleach injections that he was taking while he was like midway through a spray tanning session.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is as well, like now that he's got it, so so him and Melania have to like isolate, and it's probably going to affect the next presidential debate as well because it's not going to happen. But because that's supposed to be like the 15th or something.
Yeah.
But did you guys see the debate that happened like a few days ago?
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
So I watched like the highlights, if you will, but it was ridiculous. It was
Any
like
interesting points?
it was just like two like petulant kids shouting at each other. Just they were literally just talking over each
For
other
instance,
constantly.
Vic, if you try and moderate me and Neil just now by like asking us any questions and just like,
Yeah, we'll try and emulate the way it was. You want to go for Biden?
yeah, I'll go Biden.
Okay,
Just
Wow.
sleepy Biden.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what.
If you just ask us question, they would ask two politicians and we'll emulate what it was like.
Okay, let me have a think. So, what? I'm not very good at this already.
Any question?
Any question? Okay, I'm gonna make it political based because that was the.
And also then what he would then do is he would then ask, somebody to have their 2 minutes to talk first of all.
Oh,
so
okay.
So you would then invite one of us to.
Okay. So how are you going to ensure the economy stays strong in the next year? Neil, please go first.
I'm
Oh,
Donald
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah, that's my.
So we have had the strongest economy in years. But Obama before was running it into the ground, and he was Joe Biden Joe Biden would run this economy into the ground.
That's wrong.
Basically, so I mean, it was actually a lot more difficult because Trump just talked over Biden the whole time. I
Yeah.
realized, but
And then did Biden do anything to like?
Well-
did he get quite aggravated?
yeah, but like, so Biden would start speaking, and then Trump
he'd,
would
like,
just.
look into the camera and be like, "You people at your homes, I'm proud of my son. My son, he didn't take the money.
Your son was a coke addict who got dishonorably discharged.
Excuse me. Man, will
Dishonorably discharged, and he was a coke
I
addict.
can't get 2 words in with this guy.
And then Trump was talking as well, and Biden was just like, "Will you shut up, man?
You shut up, man. Just
This
shut
is
up.
two people this is one of them is going to be president."
Mm.
And literally the guy who was moderating it was literally saying, he was like, he's like, "Stop shouting." He's like, "Stop shouting." He's like, he was literally just being like, "Guys, like, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet." He's like, "I shouldn't have to do this."
Yeah, it's
'Cause they
even
were just,
like
kids, man.
for things that we're even involved in. I can't imagine not letting someone just have their piece, or
Yeah.
it's. I heard people talking about it, and it was like the lesser of two evils. Like both of them are not great, are not going to be amazing.
Well, that's what it
and
was
it's like you've
last
got to
time.
pick which one. You've got to take
Where-
a massive sacrifice
Where
on.
Hillary was viewed as the kind of lesser of two evils, but then
I hate it. I'm like, why is this always a debate when it comes to politics? Where like pick the lesser of two evils. I actually sat there in the shower where I hold all my debates, and I was like talking
With
yourself.
I'm talking to the shampoo and conditioner. Everyone does it. Come on.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, you wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, who would you rather have in control, Hitler or Mussolini?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, well, I mean, Mussolini wasn't, he's not as bad as Hitler, but he only killed like millions. And you're like, can we not just have a good guy once?
Yeah.
Just
I
someone
honestly
who's
don't
good
understand
for the
it. It's
job.
like maybe that's just it. Maybe I'm not gonna lie. I don't like politics because I think it's just lying a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like all the people are just putting on an act and telling you what you want to hear. And I think at some point it's like we need someone who's actually intelligent and who is actually going to follow through on these things and not make false promises. But
Yep.
that is literally the campaign.
Should we go back to like the good old days of when it was lords who were educated and they only had the rights to vote, and the person who would be in power would be someone who was well educated and informed on the shit they were talking about?
maybe
I
we
had
should
a
run for
really-
office.
I had a really
I
interesting conversation though. Like someone I was out with for drinks, he was saying like, what did he say? He said that he wasn't into democracy, and it was really
no.
interesting to his point because I'd never thought of it that way. But he said, you're literally getting a wide group of people who just follow on to whatever one concept you come up with. So like Trump, it was like he had basically attracted all of like the, you could say, redneck people who were quite like, old traditional views on stuff, and he had like
Yeah.
convinced them that was his whole campaign was going to be about.
Yeah.
And he might not have even thought that before, but he was like, this will get me elected.
Yeah.
And it was like that is what overtook the election. So it's an interesting
much.
point, but like I wouldn't agree with him either, but I was just like, it was
Yeah.
interesting to hear about it.
I've heard like a couple of arguments
democracy.
before that are like anti-democracy sort of views, because they were like, and their argument was quite simply kind of, if you were gonna like steer a ship or something, and it was kind of thing that would you go around and ask everybody which direction they want to go, or would you leave it to the person who knows how?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I can kind of get that, like, should it everybody have a say that might have
Yeah.
no idea how to run a country, etc. Or do you? And I was like, I mean,
It's
there's
a good
obviously
point.
flaws.
Yeah,
There's flaws to the
lots of
argument,
flaws,
obviously,
but
but
yeah,
it's
sure.
it's like a good enough point.
Yeah.
Do you know what's mad though? Like, unpopular opinion, I don't actually like democracy that much. Because if you actually look at the man who invented democracy back in the Greek old days of
Mr. Democrat.
Mr. Democrat of the
Democrat.
Philosopher's Stone, he actually came up with all the
Philosopher's
points. He actually came up with all the points of why it's super flawed and why it just wouldn't work in a political situation. But for some reason, that's just how we live in the Western
I
society.
love democracy.
And if you look, I mean, the COVID infections don't actually take much infection in the states that don't have democracy. But I'm not sure if that's from being
Some
undemocratic
political
or
correlation with
just not
COVID.
admitting anything.
Yeah, that could just be. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure North Korea don't have very many cases as far as
I
they're
thought they had none.
admitting to.
Like, I
No,
thought it
they've
was
got
just
zero.
they were immune.
Didn't we
just
talk
born
about it a
immune.
long time ago in the pod? Like, they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
like one case, and then
That was it.
there's like one solitary gunshot, and they were like, nope, no cases here.
Done.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my days.
Well,
Does it not just make you sit there and feel like a bit like Gordon Ramsay?
No.
no.
You're just sitting there
Stop
like,
trying to shoehorn this in.
I will shoot this fucking horn.
Let's move on.
Just sit there and just like looking at everything and be like, it's fucking raw! It's raw!
An idiot sandwich.
What are you? And just sitting there like, where's the
I feel like
damn
that should be the
sauce?
soundbite. That should be the soundbite. The idiot sandwich thing.
Oh, we could do that.
That's an idea.
You don't
That's
get
an
to
idea.
fucking choose, right?
Oh,
That's my
sorry.
bit. I choose.
No, Rob reenacting the idiot sandwich.
I was gonna say, Neil, she's giving you a run for your money. I think.
Yeah, I know, man. She's trying to steal my bit.
I think she's trying to lay claims to becoming a permanent host here.
Absolutely not.
I mean, we have 4 mics now, so this could be a thing.
Well, I mean, there's only 2 in your place. Victoria's got 1 in hers.
Yeah.
I'm obviously,
Yeah, true.
I'm in my room. I have my mic.
Looking at the agenda, huh?
Yeah, sorry, I just kind of got lost in thought. Are we gonna touch on Among Us?
To be honest, I haven't heard much about it. I've got a
Good.
social coming up about it, but I have no idea what it is.
You having a social in Among Us?
Yeah, it's like the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about, is it not someone is picked as like, you know the Saboteur game?
Yeah.
And is it a bit like that? It's like
Yeah,
one of you is
It's
the
like
Saboteur.
Trapped on CBBC.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant.
You're trapped.
Oh man, that's classic.
Do
are
not
the
react.
Saboteur.
You are the Saboteur. Yeah, brilliant. Love it.
Brilliant show.
I was just saying, like, how do you guys love playing that game? How would you play it? I know how.
I mean, I
play it.
haven't. That's it.
You've never played Among
I've
Us?
never played
Oh
Among
man,
Us.
you should get in.
It's
so
coming.
good.
It's coming up, so we'll see.
It's kind of like Secret Hitler as well, but on
Oh,
like a video game. Secret Hitler's fantastic. That's like a board game as well.
That's
That's
it,
some
yeah.
that's some free
So
advertisement. 'cause
Neil's
they're
a
a small
Nazi.
company. Whoa! Whoa! Okay.
I love controversy.
You know what? Part of me wants to make that the soundbite for the episode, but also
like-
I kind of
It was
don't want
just
it
so
to be
jolly
there.
way of
Just
saying it.
Neil's a Nazi. Yeah, I kind of don't want that.
Clip it.
Done. Sorted.
That's going to be appearing on the Instagram preview.
No, I'm not having like myself be a Nazi dog kicker. I have a career to try and uphold.
He's gonna be a teacher.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, Christ, could you imagine little
Yeah.
kids kicking dogs and doing the...
No, it's like they do a background check on you,
Jesus.
and they're like, "So we found out you have a bit of controversial thoughts, and you're a Nazi, and you don't like dogs, so you can't teach here anymore." And you're like, "Fuck, I banked on this."
I just get a call from Neil in 10 years being like, yeah, Rob, see that podcast that you're like now number in the world for? Yeah, it's lost me a job. And I'm like, yeah, no worries, man. You can get a full-time position as a host. So
Yeah,
it's,
once you're like
As my what was it, assistant.
once you're a millionaire from this, Rob, that's fine. But
When I've
until
taken
then,
his host role, of course. When I've taken the host
naturally,
role,
yeah.
you just become the
When
assistant.
I can no longer do it because Rob's trying to tarnish my name and clean up the National Socialist.
That's all he's doing. He just wants to fire you, to be honest with you. He's asking you to step down in secret. That's what's happening.
At
like
this
hoping
point,
you'll
I'll
just become-
fucking
Wow.
welcome it.
yeah, I think this brings Neil more stress than it does
God,
any
it
joy.
does so much.
He's just sitting there like, oh, how's he going to edit this?
Is he going to
this
ruin
Yeah.
my life this week? Yeah.
Really, we have no idea. You have all the power here, Rob.
Yeah, no, I am God. I like to
Yeah.
take a submissive position when I'm talking, but in the post edit, I'm like, I am God. I have all the power.
There's literally been episodes as well where Rob has said something that's not landed, like it's not been funny, and then he's just edited it to put in a laugh track from earlier in the episode to make
Wow,
himself sound
narcissism.
funnier. That's a fact.
Oh yeah, and there's some stuff that I've said that's been completely out of order, and I've just all you hear is the reaction, but I don't leave that in.
Because I'm just here thinking like everyone found that funny, and I'm at home like I didn't find it funny. Why is everyone getting this joke and I'm not?
No, they don't. That's the thing. Rob just clips another laugh track from earlier and drops
I'm
it
just so good
And
at
it's his
editing
own
now.
laugh as well. It's your own laugh you probably clip as well.
I just think that my laugh's a bit contagious,
Just
so
a
if it's not
narcissist.
funny, I'm
It's
just
quite
like,
funny.
laugh. Right, I think that's a good time to hit the next topic.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need a
This is the lamb.
Where's the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
sauce. Right here.
Oh, fuck off you fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
So, we're going to. This is what the audience has asked for. This is what people have posted on the Instagram questions, and just to show that I do listen to what you guys say, we are going to deep dive into the mind of a dog kicker. Sorry, I was trying to do the boys.
That sounded Australian.
Oh, I was trying to emulate what's the guy from the boys.
Billy Butcher.
Billy Butcher. He tries to sound English, but Australian slips in now and then.
The best thing about that though is that all of his relatives in the show are also Australians that do British accent, which is great.
But yeah,
Right, so this fucking dog kicker thing, it was you that started it, I'm pretty sure. You started on like an episode in season 1, and you were just like, Neil kicks dogs,
Victoria, I'd like to hear your take on what brings you to mind when you think of Neil kicking dogs.
This is fucking bullshit.
I think it's just his whole vibe comes off as like a really nice guy, and I think he just has this dark side of like every time he goes on a walk and he sees someone like with a dog on a leash, he's like, I really want to kick it, and I'm like, how does that get into your head?
I honestly don't
Like,
know.
how far could you punt a chihuahua?
But Neil, he'll find out. He's got the world record in punting chihuahuas.
I didn't think I'd hear the sentence, how far could you punt a chihuahua today?
Come on, you just have to ask yourself, just why, Neil? Like, this is semi an intervention.
Is that on your
Just,
Tinder bio?
What, how far could you punt a chihuahua?
No, just that, you're
Oh,
like,
no.
I really hate dogs.
No, I
so-
don't. I mean, I don't kick dogs. I thought this is where we're gonna reach this point. I thought this was like gonna reach boiling point, and we're just gonna finally finish this.
No, like, Neil, I know before we started recording, you were sitting there like, Rob, please, can you just tell people I don't kick dogs so I can, like, kick dogs in private? But
It's not what he's saying.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like we need to overcome this together.
I'm gonna find the clip.
I feel like there's some deep turmoil here.
Because the clip came because I was taking like a liberal stance on something, and you were getting upset because it was making you look bad because you were just sitting like a right fucking alt-right incel, and you were like, "Oh yeah, we need to make up some sort of rumor about Neil to try and ruin him," and you were like, "Oh yeah, we just claim that he kicks dogs. Everyone likes dogs," and that was it.
Yeah, no, okay. Come clean. I think it was like episode 4 or 5. I actually sat there. We were talking about the moral dilemma of if you were driving a self-automated car and it was walking towards a family.
The car was
or-
walking.
The car was
I
driving.
didn't even click that.
I know, she was just nodding her head like, mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah.
The car was driving towards the family. You could either program it to steer away from family and preserve them, but you'd run over a dog, or you ignore the family and carry on saving the dog's life. Neil obviously said he'd run over the dog
To save the family of 4.
Which makes sense.
I put the twist on it because I sounded like a incel that was a bit very, very alt-right. He hates dogs, he kicks dogs, he would rather run over a dog than save the dog, and for some reason that's just caught on.
And to be honest, your viewpoint is that you hate everyone else in the world. So really, there's no surprise that you would run over the family of 4
That's
and you
true.
would save the dog.
Because the family of 4 could, for example, be vegan.
Women?
They could women. they could be vegan overweight women. And Rob would probably turn off the road to try and hit them.
And they could go to Lucas and
Wait.
order
He could.
ice cream with monkey blood
Yeah.
and a black man.
I forgot. Rob does hate what vegans, overweight
Women.
people.
People
women.
actually think I'm fatphobic, and I'm having a lot of like heavy debates after pods with people who listen to this. I am not fatphobic, but also, can we talk about how can you have someone who's fat and vegan? Is that possible?
Yes,
Eating
vegan
lots
junk
of fruits
food.
and vegetables.
Vegan junk food.
Ah, okay,
when they're
that makes
vegan
sense.
in the wrong way. There you go.
Right. Are they
But-
true vegans? Are they just not like has-beens?
Has-beens. I think they're just trying to hide the fact that they love meat, and they're just like going to all the fast food.
You say
places
meat
again.
or me?
Meat. Me. Wow.
She is the personification of
I am a vegan
like,
bitch.
wow, okay.
No, but I was gonna say with the car thing, like you have to bear in mind that I know like it's theoretical, but as well you have no, unless you're like a programmer or unless you are part of the company making the cars as well. If it's an automated thing, it's
the
gonna
thing
do
is-
whatever it's planned to do before you even decide. Like you.
Yeah, no. The thing wasn't that you would get to control the car. It was more
No,
the
okay.
kind of like we're kind of discussing the morality of the car actually being
Yeah.
programmed to do it. Because I'm pretty sure the thing that we got into talking about it was that these cars are programmed to kill you in some situations, because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
would it-
Safer.
yeah, because it's like safer to
Or save the
basically kill
numbers.
you. Yeah, because it's like, you know, if it is going to basically be, you're either going to steer it off a cliff or steer it into like a family of four kind of thing, it will just, you know, make that split second judgment and go woof. Here
See,
you
I
are.
did RMPS at school, and we learned about the philosopher that came up with it was basically the philosophy around like the greater good for the most amount of people.
Yeah.
And it's basically that is what the basis is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it's so funny because it's like almost, if it got to a point where it was like, would you save your family member or would you save 10 people that you don't know? And it's
Yeah.
like it would pick the 10 people you don't know, and that's such a weird thing to think
But
about.
yeah, but obviously
But-
humans are they're different. That's the kind of that's where
Yeah.
the debate and the
Interesting.
Is that
interest
from-
comes in.
Is that also from Mr. Democrat
Of
from the
Philosopher's
Philosopher's
Stone?
Stone?
Yes, it was.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He's a good
Ring a
guy.
bell.
He came
Demo-
up with everything.
Democracy, that's him.
Democracy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
AJ Crazy live and direct.
nice. That's
Gonna
him
try-
trying to
edit
kick a
that
dog
one out.
again.
AJ, yeah.
Just kick the microphone instead.
Yeah, I did that
He
for
just gets a
effect.
twitch and he just has to.
Yeah, I'd like a big laugh track after that. So
Yeah.
something that really landed.
Yeah, big laugh track.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Good
Brilliant.
guy.
Not a 5-second pause of
Oh,
silence.
you're gonna do that, aren't you? Oh, you're the
Just do the
Lord.
little
Silence.
cricket sound. You know the crickets.
Oh
and the,
no, he
Yeah,
will.
That is a good one. I'll
Yeah.
actually find that on.
He's gonna
Yeah,
start
or
putting that
hay,
after
I
all
mean, you
of my
can't put like
jokes.
it's not videoed, but you could put like hay bales if it was a movie. You could just
Yeah.
put hay bales coming through, and
I like you, Victoria. I knew
know,
there was a reason I brought you
I
back.
just love making fun of Neil.
Oh
really,
God,
it's
it's,
very
so
easy.
good when I have someone else on my side. It's rare, but I do relish. it.
Congratulations, Victoria. You're now on side with Rob, the right-wing fat phobiast.
You know
Fat-
what?
fat- fat
The
phobist.
stronger side, I still feel he's got. He's the what is it? The guy in charge of this podcast. So I just want him to make me sound good.
Yeah,
so.
so just putting in the brownie points, so I put in all
You
the
know.
good points
Yeah.
and take away
I like
any
that.
ums,
I like
long
this one
pauses.
bit.
Should we dive into the social media dilemma? I don't know if any of you have watched the film.
I
but
have.
I'm gonna go and do a pee first.
Yeah, good take a pause here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
is this the
Pause.
stuff about social media? Because this is most of my job, so I can actually talk about this a lot.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know what topic we're on.
I'll unpause there.
We're on the social
Yes.
media.
Oh.
Right, the social media dilemma. Nice film. I was thinking we could just touch on this for a couple of minutes. So, what's your take? So, I'm assuming you've watched the film, Neil. Have you?
No.
So basically, you know the entire context of it, though. It's basically telling everyone.
Well, I don't. I'm not going to say I do. I've not seen it, but I know a
You
lot
get the-
to do with it.
probably
just 'cause
get
of
the
my-
gist.
Yeah.
My job, yeah, but
The entire film just goes talking to length of how all these social media companies are using your data to sort of make a sort of hologram of you with all your interests, your likes, things that you'd click on, things that you hover on, just so they can sell that to advertising companies to sell you products, essentially.
Yep.
Yep.
And keep you on your phone and on social media as long as they can for the entire time that you have a phone. And the film just sort of goes into details of why they're doing this data collection, how they're doing it, how they're manipulating it, how the AI is basically a shit ton of systems and servers in a cloud in Silicon Valley. And most of the people who run these systems don't even know how half of it works. They just know how to maintain it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the system is adjusting itself.
Yeah. It's getting more clever.
So, Neil, I'm interested. How is this part of your job? Is that just because of the game stuff? You're trying to keep people engaged all the time?
So basically, yeah, as part of that, a lot of what we do is more or less using psychology and what is essentially gamification of products to get people to really just be on the games that we make as much as possible. So a lot of the stuff we do is using techniques that apps such as Instagram, Facebook, all this jazz will use to get you pretty much just hooked on these apps. So the goal for them is really to make you going on your phone habitual, right?
Yeah.
So once they get you to just out of habit start opening your phone, like if you go, for example, to the toilet, you instinctively will just pull out your phone and then boom, you've opened Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of way that it works. And once that happens, they've got you. And also there's there's the other side as well that's talking about, building up a profile on you and all your interests and everything. But you can actually see that if you've got like an Android phone especially, which means you've got a Google account, but you've got a Google account anyway, you can go on and look at it and it will show, you can actually look at a profile of yourself.
Oh, wow.
And it will, like, you haven't put this info in, but it builds about you. It'll tell you your like demographic, your interests. It'll put you in all these different sections. And you can look into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's all basically just around, it all revolves around the same like equation that's like B equals MAT, which is like behavior equal. So like the desired behavior is a result of your motivation, ability, and trigger.
Okay.
So in order for you to do a certain behavior or to do a certain action, they will then basically give you these three things. So the trigger might be like a notification. The ability is just having your phone on you, really, you're able to do it. And the motivation is something that, like, it's that endorphin release that you get from seeing a notification and from seeing that something else is happening. And it's just once they've got you in this kind of feedback loop, that's you constantly waiting on this next
It's like a cycle.
notification.
Yeah.
Infinite scroll.
You get stuck in it, and the infinite scroll as well is something that got invented and was just
crazy.
meant that you could just keep going. So that's
new
where this
stuff all
kind of
the
comes
time.
from. Yeah.
So how do you feel about the game side of things? Because obviously it's a different it's the same tactics, but it's differently deployed.
So it kind of isn't because for a lot of them it is, well, they have ads. So free to play one, this isn't what I do, but like in free to play games, for example, ones on your phone, if it's your Candy Crush type sort of games, the ones that are always in the top of the App Store that are just always the really, really basic ones that all just have a really simple concept, they're all just ad funded.
Yeah.
And all the ads from like AdSpace and stuff are tailored specifically to you.
Yeah.
And that'll just, and again, they just use your profile, and it's all about just exposure to products.
Yeah.
And the longer that you spend playing this game increases your dwell time on this app or on somebody else's site. If you've got to visit as well, like especially when you're doing it on like a website or something, if you're playing like a game that's kind of the things that I would do at work would be like gambling games, really.
Yeah.
It'd be like score predictions and Super Six, all that jazz. If you can spend more time on their site, you're more likely to, for example, buy something or to do this.
That's all it is.
So for you, is it also like the reward system in a game? Like I don't know, you were saying like gambling sort of games and stuff.
There's games like that, but the difference is with like iGaming or gaming in the sense of like it is all gambling. That's what they call it, trying to make it sound less dodgy.
Yeah.
Like that's
We're not evil, like swear.
Yeah, like that's all a bit different because you actually are spending money and depositing stuff. And when it's all free to play games and stuff like that, where you're not actually purchasing it and it's all microtransactions and things, buying skins, that's proven to be like a massively successful like marketing strategy, because it's just all tiny little payments constantly, and they just make loads and loads of money from it. But yeah, ads is literally that's where Facebook makes money.
And like, just to let the people know, I've deliberately avoided plugging in any ads in any of our podcast episodes because I care about your ears and I care about not plugging anything but my name in everything we do.
You just not had anybody offer to sponsor the podcast?
Not yet, but I'm waiting for that Bluetooth ad. I can't wait.
That'll be the first
So many
corrupt thing
plugins.
of this. Well, the first of many corrupt things in this podcast.
Oh, mate. I was just waiting to say one couple things. Is she our guest or is she like the interviewer? Because I just feel like she's asking us the questions.
I'm just intrigued.
And responding
to be
well.
honest, with Rob, like with you, Rob, I don't feel, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like you're a very social media person. So I'm quite interested in what you thought in general about the thing, because my brother, as we all know, Ryan, is totally, he does not use Facebook, Instagram, any of that stuff, like, so he just doesn't, he's one of very few people I know that are like that, but I think I get that vibe from you, Rob.
Well, that is surprising. I thought I was maybe a bit too much on social media.
Oh yeah, I would completely disagree with you.
I would have
Really?
said
Victoria,
that I'm probably one of the people that's like quite clued in. Maybe it's because I don't post much about myself, I guess, like on my personal accounts. I don't really have much activity, but comes to like the pod Insta at my Digress, I'm pretty much on that all the time, plugging in that everywhere. The meme page can't even underscore the left.
Plugging the podcast
But,
on the podcast is
He's
ridiculous.
reaching new levels of marketing.
It's so bad, but
He's
it is one
scraping
of
the
those.
barrel.
I think I just like to watch. It's like people watching at the window. I just like to have social media to see what other people are doing, and I'd rather plug an idea than myself.
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's just as it's hard enough for people to believe I'm not that vain,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, come off it.
That laugh
Wow,
just fucking
that's
ends it all.
interesting.
But no, what I was thinking is just social media is crazy how they can even predict when you're sad or you've just had a recent breakup.
Yeah.
Or know exactly where you are, or even the sort of trends that you might be into just following things that you've bought on Amazon or.
Well, I actually
whatnot.
quite like to go on and I'll turn off like personalized ads. Like as
Yeah.
much as I can on like every site kind of thing, and you can deny like so many cookies for different things that track what websites you jump to.
Yeah.
And there's like I try just to kind of A, out of principle, and B, out of curiosity, to kind of like deny them all the kind of rights to track everything that I do. But still, like we could be sitting here, and if we talked about going,
It's just picked up.
like if we talked about going away, I don't know, on holiday to Spain or something, and we talked about Spain enough times, or going to a certain place,
Definitely
you would
something.
get ads on your phone
Yeah,
for it.
it's
Like it
crazy.
just knows.
It's crazy.
And that would be a great opportunity to slide into a VPN ad. I'm just saying, like, the opportunity is there. We could be talking about, I don't know, VPN Expressway, and it'd be so good, you know?
Yeah,
Just
NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Like that,
Come
yeah.
on, people, if you're listening, I've got the potential here. Just give us something.
You could have at least 6 listeners hear these ads.
In different countries. I think that's a good time for us to move into our favorite segment.
Favorite?
Wow.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need it.
This is the lamb.
Where's the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
Right here.
Oh, fuck off you fat useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
I don't like this. Tori is too comfortable in this
I
now.
love how she just throws the layups and I'm just fucking dunking. I'm just like, "Ah!" That lob.
Oh, that's
I'm loving
brilliant.
this.
She's missing the layups, and you're just having to clean up the mess.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, is the moment you have been waiting for. It is Neil's segment. Cue the music.
I'm gonna think of something now, aren't I?
You could go
Then-
on and then have a think whilst we're...
Well, I mean, we can literally remove this bit here. 'Cause,
Oh,
Okay.
we remove it. There's like background music playing along this as well.
or there will be rather when I come up with something. Which,
Yeah,
this week I literally have come completely
That's a lot.
clueless.
I love this.
But normally I'm quite good at coming up with something, but this week I've
Yeah.
just got really
What you got?
nothing.
We could just say your segment is the longest and wankiest coffee orders.
I thought you were just going to leave it there.
Longest and
The
wankiest.
longest
This
and
is the
wankiest.
longest and wankiest. I'm like, wow, Victoria.
Wow.
Actually, you know what? To be fair, that is quite a good one because I could just say that is what I was laughing at. Or
See
did we,
that?
did we talk about that? I swear we talked about this. in the
No,
pod
see,
already.
this is, you're getting confused between off pod and
just
on.
me and you having discussion.
Yeah, see, the thing is, we
Okay.
have too many discussions
Yeah.
that we should record, but we don't.
Fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Right. Okay. Cool. I'll do it.
Okay, fair.
Right. Anyway, Rob, you can start recording from about now. You can just remove everything that was on there before. I'm just gonna yawn and then we'll go.
It's a future Rob.
Yeah, I'm talking to future Rob
Yeah.
just now. Really confuses him. Hey, future Rob, how you doing, man? Just send me a text. Just ask me how I'm doing. See what's up. Anyway, right. So yes. So as always, I've come very prepared for this, and I'm not just coming up with this from the top of my head. So Rob and I were actually in a Costa not that long ago, and we decided to get a coffee, as you do when you're in Costa. And I thought that we had a really awkward order. Like I thought we'd gone over and above and been really wanky with what we ordered. I think you got like a soya hazelnut latte. Is
Oh,
that right?
when I walk in, I'm
Sorry,
like,
vegan.
no,
Boom!
I've actually switched it. Your mum has had an influence on me. I've sat there and I was like, hi, attendant, I'll have an oat
Attendant.
milk latte with hazelnut syrup stirred 3 times.
What you're saying is my
clockwise.
mum has made you change your order now.
Yeah, I actually, if you go to Victor Hugo's and have the oat milk there with a bit of hazelnut syrup
Is it good?
and a latte, it's so fucking good.
Try it.
It's so good.
I'll
I
try
feel
it.
like such a basic bitch when I'm ordering. I'm like, yes, oat milk, please.
Well, that's kind of back to the point. So then what I had was I decided to treat myself as well. I got a vanilla decaf latte, right?
Wow, okay.
Because I like to drink decaf mostly.
I'm the same.
And I then realized I was like, I said to the girl that was on the till, I was like, "Look, can we get that?" I was like, "Sorry, it's a really awkward order." She was like, "No, trust me,
I've
that
had
is."
worse.
She's like, "That is nowhere near as bad." And she was talking to us, being like, we get you know, there's people that have shots of this and that. She's people that ask for like wet lattes, and we were like, you can get wet. She's like,
Wet?
yeah. She's like, wet just means like less foam,
Oh,
I'm
right,
dry.
okay.
and you can get dry ones as well. But like anyone that knows anything about making coffees, most of the difference comes between like basically if you've got foam on it or not, or how much
Yeah.
foam there is. So I was kind of saying, I was like, so if it isn't getting like a wet cappuccino, just like get it a latte. And she was like, yeah, pretty much. But people just order it, and you can't tell them off. Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
basically, what I want to know is just, have you ever, one, do you have a really awkward Starbucks order? And two, have you ever felt really, really bad? Have you ever felt bad or awkward ordering something somewhere and being really specific?
So I can probably say quite a bit on this because, as everyone knows, I'm dairy free and gluten free. So whenever I go
And
out,
vegan.
no, but whenever I try to be, whenever I go
You're
out and
also
order
a basic
something,
white girl.
yeah.
Are you on the
yeah.
pumpkin
So-
spice lattes yet, or?
Not yet, not yet. But the thing is whenever I go out for food, I was so self-conscious about going out for food with people before because,
You're so tall.
yeah, literally the table would not be big enough to fit me. Shut up, Rob.
I forgot you are really tall. It's because you're sitting down.
God.
I know, right?
You can't
I
see
know,
me.
right?
Disgustingly.
Also, I've got the whole sofa to myself, so you can't really.
I know, who has a sofa
It's just like
in
an
the
armchair to
bedroom?
me, really. But basically, so whenever I go out, it's when I have to order something, you know, I have to say, oh, can I have this? And then I'm like, and a gluten-free bun, and vegan cheese, and this and that. And then, so in Starbucks, it's like, I actually don't drink coffee, caffeine I don't really have, but when I started having decaf, so I say, oh, can I have a decaf? And then I'm like, I don't know whether I want a latte or not, because I don't really know the difference. And then I'm like, I'll just have a latte. And then I'm like, oh, with soya milk. And then I'm like, okay, that's as complicated as it gets.
Yeah.
But I've heard people I know not people I'm like close with or anything, but people have just
Because
we
you
went
wouldn't
out
be
for
close to
coffee.
people that have awkward coffee.
No,
orders.
yeah, of course. Like, who wants to be
Disgusting.
friends with them? But they'll go in and people order weird things. Like, they'll get like a pumpkin spice latte, but they're like sugar free, and then they're like, but add in extra whipped cream and then caramel syrup on top, and they're like, but can you make it with soya milk? And I'm like, how does that make sense? Because you're asking for a skinny latte with extra syrup and whipped cream with soya milk,
Sugar-free.
which is not dairy. That's dairy free, but the whipped cream isn't, and it's like, how?
It's like, I want to save the cows, but I like whipped
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've felt like quite a lot of shame whenever I've ordered something because I feel like I am being difficult, and I've tried to apologise. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but this is what I want, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I actually came up with a good quote before. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie You've Got Mail.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
ages ago,
Tom
but-
Hanks, is that?
So there's a really good quote from
It
it that
is.
I love.
I remember.
And it was like, I'll just say it. The whole purpose of places like Starbucks is for people with no decision-making ability whatsoever to make 6 decisions just to buy 1 cup of coffee. Short, tall, light, dark, calf, decaf, low-fat, non-fat. So people who don't know what the hell they're doing or who on earth they are can, for only $3.95, get not just a cup of coffee, but an absolutely defining sense of self. Tall, decaf, cappuccino. And I was like, how real is that? Like, people can make that specific an order, and that could make their day if they get
I think
it right.
that's part of the
Yeah.
reason that I like Subway so much.
Because you can pick and
just
choose.
telling someone to put the meat in your sub.
No, just because I can make it how I like. But because they encourage you to do it, I think I feel better about it. Whereas in Starbucks or whatever else, I would go in and be like, just a latte is fine.
I think you'd make a great dom. I think you just need that submissive person in your life to be like, yes, master, what would you like in your 5 honey bread Italian 12-inch?
I'll have a chicken pizziola, please.
Oh, that's good, by the way. And they started doing vegan cheese.
See, that's why I don't think I'd be very sexy as a dom, because they'd be asking me to order they asked me to order a sub, and I'd be like, just a tuna melt's alright, actually, that's fine.
Can you even have Subway?
I can now. So they have like gluten-free subs, which is amazing. But I don't go enough. Like, I've went once in the past 3 years. But no, they have all the gluten-free and vegan stuff. But I think it's when people point stuff out. So my diet's quite specific. So when people say to me, "Oh, but you do know this has this in it," and I'm like, I know. I just want the vegan cheese, thank you.
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
when people question it, I'm like, at times, yeah, their order's difficult, but they've also just asked for it. So don't question it, because I think some people can be, just let them live their life. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
doing any
yeah.
harm at the end of the day.
It's like, I didn't ask for this. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Can I just eat my food, please? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd definitely love to go into a coffee place and just be like, can I have a wet, kind of dry, double shot cortado with oat milk, dash of whipped cream while looking at the soya milk? And the steam at exactly 60 degrees because I don't want the milk to be too burnt. I will notice the difference.
Yeah, people actually do like temperature checks.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what about if the barista just doesn't follow it and then they go and give it to them? They're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm like, I didn't.
That's a barista. People come into the ice cream shop demanding a wet coffee at exactly
What?
56 degrees. And I'm like looking at them, just sort of holding this pot and being like, I measure with my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I used to make coffees in like the bar, especially like during the kind of fringe when you'd have families coming in and stuff, they'd be like, "Can I get 3 lattes and a cappuccino?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And you best believe they all got the exact same coffee, but one of them had chocolate on top.
Just like cappuccino.
I remember I used to work in a deli, and a woman came in and she was like, "Oh, can I have a latte?" And I made the latte, and I gave it to her, and then she came over and she was like, "This has got milk in it." I'm like, "That's what a latte is, hon."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "It's not strong enough. Like it's really milky." And I was like, "Oh, do you want an extra
that's
shot?"
what latte
And she
is,
was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, add in an extra shot." So I did it, and I had to charge her for it. And she was like, "You're actually going to charge me?" I was like, "Yes, I have to charge everyone for an extra shot." I'm like, "A latte has milk in it."
I don't understand. You think people would wise up with these decisions?
Yeah, I think people place too much importance on what coffee they're going to go out and get. Like, I am not a caffeine drinker, and I just find it hilarious when people are that specific about...
Well, it's like people asking for like white Americanos. Like an Americano is just a black coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, Americano, white Americano is just black coffee with milk
Like
in
white-
it, surely.
Yeah, like that's me.
Yeah.
It's like a black coffee with milk. So therefore, it's not a black coffee anymore.
Yeah.
You just get like a white coffee.
Oh, you think that's good when they ask for an Americano and then pour the milk in and then realize that milk is cold, thus,
Curdle, right?
reducing the temperature of the Americano, making it slightly lukewarm, and they go, my coffee's not warm enough.
Yeah,
Oh
where
my
you just
goodness.
put milk in it.
You've
Yeah.
just, the
just
milk
cooled
is
it
cold.
down, yeah.
Well, what were you expecting? And
I
they're
don't
like,
know what you want from me.
and they're like, can you make my coffee hotter? I'm like, it comes out the warm temperature.
It comes out hot, and now it's not.
If I boil it and pour
Honestly,
it, evaporate.
customers, the general public, like,
I'm almost-
gotta love them.
I'm almost giving them like a physics lesson. Be like, if I boil this water anymore, it will evaporate. Do you
No
want
coffee anymore. You can sniff the coffee. Just sniff it. Get the
Gas.
vapor.
Coffee for you.
just open the bean bag and just like smell the bean fumes and be like,
Brilliant.
that's good, that's good.
Well, that's probably enough of that.
Yeah.
I'll let us move on.
Next topic.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need it.
This is the lamb.
Where's the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
Right here.
Oh, fuck off you fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
I've just decided that we're going to talk about the former Australian Prime Minister because, and in fact, due to this whole Brexit thing that we kind of have going on in the sidelines where we might be breaking international law, who knows, it's the head of our trade negotiations with future prospects like Japan and America and probably China is going to be the former Australian Prime Minister, the amazing guy that he is. That was sarcasm for anyone who can't tell. I'm not that far right.
What's his name?
Tom Abbott? Is it Tom Abbott? Tony Abbott.
That's the one.
That's him.
This is the guy who was like a climate change denier and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he was like quite bad for being like really against like the Aborigines and stuff in Australia. I'm pulling this like out my arse. I
See,
don't actually know much about him, but I've
like-
heard.
I looked it up and he called climate change absolute crap, and apparently he's been blamed for like homophobic, misogynist, racist views. But then his sister spoke up. Obviously it's his sister, but his sister is a lesbian, and she spoke up and she was like, he's not any of these things, it's just him making it out to be. So to be honest, I actually looked this up just before I came, but it was really interesting because he is very good at what he does. And
What,
like it's
being a
been proven.
racist,
No,
sexist?
trade deals. Like no, like, he's
So
very
that-
good at being racist.
So that's why you think that we should have him.
No,
Victoria, is that-
I'm not don't put words in my mouth. I'm like, he's clearly very good at his job and he's going to do something good for the UK, but it's how we are going to be portrayed because of his views and because of how he would go about it is the worrying thing. Yeah, so apparently he's against abortion. Do you want me to read that?
Oh, yeah, I think
So-
you can read exactly his quote.
So it says basically, abortion is the easy way out. It's hardly surprising that people should choose the most convenient exit from awkward situations. Which, obviously as a woman,
I think I'll let you take this one, Victoria.
I
Nice, Rob. Good choice.
I'm totally against that statement. But again, the thing is that this trade deal is so important to us because of our economy at the minute, that I'm like, you know, we need someone who's good at their job, but it's how they're going to be portrayed. And it's almost if he will let his personal beliefs get in the way of him doing a job.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, all we are asked is to do a job without getting our personal beliefs into it. I'd hoped he would.
I think it's mad because, I mean, no doubt he managed to get into the Australian office through some form of education and knowing kind of what he's doing, but
It was probably just through some form of nepotism. It really is. It normally always is. With
there
those,
is always that, and it's just there is things that he cannot remove from history that he has said openly in Parliament, that he is against abortion, that he has spoken against gay marriage, that he literally went out his way to try and make sure it still remains abolished in Australia.
What, gay marriage?
Yeah, and also spoke out against women in a very misogynistic way. I'm just trying to see if I can actually find some of the quotes that he said against women. And even when the news, BBC Media, tried to ask politicians of this country to say, do you support some of the things that he said in the past, they kind of try and gloss over it and be like, yeah, but he's good at trade negotiations, so we're going to pay him a lot because he's good at this one thing. And, you know, just gloss over all the bad stuff and shitty things that he said and move on. Yeah.
I think that the most important thing is that people do, you know, the stuff he said has been very recent. But in a general aspect, if someone has said stuff in the past and they don't believe it anymore, why should they still be condemned for something they used to believe if they now are acting to change it? Obviously, he's not acting to change it. But in a wider aspect, if that was the case, then...
Yeah, I agree that people
Yeah.
should, obviously be given the opportunity to change, but it doesn't seem like this guy
No, it
has,
doesn't seem like it.
been that way at all.
But I think in the same aspect, the trade deal is so important because of the situation we are in. And I'm not saying that he's a perfect guy for it, but we need to consider the option of him.
Would you be in favour of Tony Abbott leading our trade negotiations?
I don't think I'm informed enough on it to actually make a decision, but because I literally have just been reading articles today.
I think Boris is doing a swell job.
God, I swear you guys are trying to out-controversial. What is going? 1 minute you're like, well, he's good at trade. You think Boris is good, and I'm
Nah,
coming out
actually
being
don't.
like,
I think Boris is a wink. But I'm just saying I don't know anything about
Yeah.
international politics and Brexit negotiation.
Honestly, when it comes to politics and trade negotiations and all that sort of business, it literally is just how people see you and how to define you. You'd be surprised how countries can fall economically based on just the feel
Yes.
a prime minister or a president has on whoever the negotiator is.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love trade negotiations. Like, that is the only reason I watch Star Wars
Wars.
Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Is it in Star Wars?
In the Star Wars Episode
don't
1, The Phantom
remember.
Menace.
Trade negotiations.
There's
are
so
the
much
key
trade
plot.
negotiation.
Wow.
That is a key
That is.
driver
I'm gonna
of
watch
the
that when I
plot.
get home.
The Trade Federation and the Republic are trying to organise this, and they're blockading trade routes and everything. Oh God, it's just
You
God,
can cripple an entire nation.
I love
For
galact-
anyone listening, this is going right over my head.
I love galactic politics, don't we all? What do kids love? Politics. Oh,
Politics.
God.
That is
Oh,
the only
Love
thing
to
that you
see
need
it.
in your
the
life.
taxation of trade routes.
Because the thing is, when we have someone like this leading our trade negotiations, I just can't imagine any country that's progressive like New Zealand
negotiator.
would want to even have chats with a man who's had beliefs like this.
See, I'm not gonna lie. He's just so. There's a quote here saying about energy is what sustains our prosperity, and coal is the world's principal energy source, and it will be for many decades to come. I agree with that because it
As
is.
an energy student,
No.
would you want to
As a thing, like, we can't deny the importance of fossil fuels at the minute. It's like we cannot switch to totally sustainable. Like, it's not feasible at the moment.
What about nuclear
we can-
power? What's your view on nuclear power?
I think that when it's utilised well, it's going well. So Rolls-Royce do nuclear power. But the thing is that it's not actually realistic to say everything should just be sustainable because we need to do it in slow steps. But then his further comment, so I agree on that part of the comment, but the earlier one was like, coal is everything to us, basically. He was basically making a point that coal is good for humanity, coal is good for prosperity, coal is an essential part of our economic future here in Australia and right around the world. And it's like, yeah, at the minute, that's what we've relied on so heavily, but it's not part of the future. Like, it's not a key part at the moment. It's, you know, everyone's trying to change it. All companies like BP recently announced them changing to totally energy-based rather than focusing on oil and gas tech. And I'm like, that is massive from such a big company. So
I can't wait till we live in a world where a Dyson tube is actually fundamental to our entire living, where they try and create something that can absorb the energy of the sun. I don't know if you've seen the Kurzgesagt video on it.
You're talking about Spider-Man 2 basically as well. Because that's what
I'm like,
Octavius
where
does in
does it-
Spider-Man 2.
Doc Ock was ahead of his time. He was
did, he
actually an eco-warrior.
Yeah, he's basically got it's like unlimited energy because he basically has his own mini sun.
No, but that is the way forward if we actually want something sustainable and somewhat green to the planet, if we don't want to rely on fossil fuels. Because the sun is the closest thing we have to unlimited energy, especially for a growing population, I would say.
Exactly.
No? Yeah? But who knows? I mean, this is all just conjecture.
Yeah.
This is all opinions. I mean, we could be wrong. He could be really good for us. Could be really bad for us. Guess it is.
Guess
Just
we'll
a
find out.
Find out guessing game.
Tune in next episode where our economy crashes.
If we survive. I'm actually wanting to do like a Christmas special just to be like, so we survived 2020. Let's see how this goes on in our post-apocalyptic world.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need a...
This is the lamb.
Where's the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
Right here.
Oh, fuck off you fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
Right, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is, this is basically the part where things get a little bit more poignant. Well, throwback. Going to use it correctly this time. It is something that the people wanted. Again, I'm trying to be reflective of your opinions on Instagram. They do matter. At my digress.
Plug.
It is the segment where we talk about our insecurities. And this is going to be hard. I don't know how hard anyone wants to go in, but who wants to start? Any volunteers?
I'm happy to go if we're...
Fire
okay.
away.
So, that's quite a wide topic, obviously, that you had mentioned to us before. Our insecurities. So, I mean, I, from a very young age, struggled with my, self-image. I kind of, when I was young, I got bullied a lot for, the way I look and...
In your enormous height.
In my enormous height.
Yeah.
And it ruined friendships I had. It ruined, well, we turned out not to be friends, but it made me skip school. I wouldn't go into school. I was so ill from it that I had to move school. It was so intense that it happened ever since till I was about 16, 17. And that's from, it started maybe when I was 9. So having it for that long a time and being so, people not liking you for how you look was really intense. And I think now I've never been confident because of that. People say to me, again, I think we spoke about it earlier, but people say to me, I come across quite confident in myself, but when it comes down to it, I'm not. I'm really not there. And I think that the way I come confident is because I just like to involve people and I like talking to people because I know how shit it is to not be made to feel like someone wants to hang out with you. So for me, it's I want to go and talk to as many people because of that. But yeah, it's quite a big thing for me. I've just never really liked the way I look. So
What was the kind of things that people would say to you?
I mean, it was just standard, you're ugly, you're this and that, but it wasn't necessarily the name calling. It was actually just the fact that it was friends treating you like shit because of all of it, and then eventually just flipping on you and excluding you kind of thing. So yeah, it wasn't just your standard name calling. It was a big just relationship shitness, I guess. So yeah.
There's one thing I always wondered though, is that something that happened to such a young age to yourself, do you think that played a key role in the things you do now? And so for instance, some of the stuff you do to try and encourage other girls going into STEM subjects, do you think this is been a driver for you in a weird sort of twisted way?
I think in a weird way, because I think, again, as I said, I don't like anyone feeling like they're not worthy of something. So I'm the person who hates falling out with anyone. I hate people feeling shit about themselves, and I'm 100% there for anyone who needs it. But it's been great because in a way I think I'm a better person from it, but I know how much it's affected my mental health, like how much I'm not happy with who I am, and I've been trying to come to terms with that for such a long time that I'm a better person because of it, but I'm also struggling through it still. So but in a way, I think it was also the fact that people didn't like the fact that I was so academic. Like I was very invested in studies. Like I was invested in sport. I did a lot of guy stuff like basketball, and I had big brothers. So I kind of like, I've been used to being, it's just so bad because we talked about it earlier, but a boy's girl. Like I don't get involved in like petty drama. I hate talking about people in that way. I hate that sort of stuff. And people had never got used to the fact I didn't gossip. People never got used to the fact I don't like the same girly things as everyone else, and that's been, now my friends understand it, but it's taken a long time of like reckoning, you could say. So
it's madness. It is something that is hard to unpick. Is there anything that you could say to anyone who's listening to this, maybe in a early stage of it? Like, how did you overcome some of this? I know it's continuous journey. You probably not even reached the final post, if you'll ever will. Try and be optimistic about that, but anything that you could say to people, just to take it in the way you have taken it on your stride, and try and encourage those who maybe feel the way you did.
I think that, again, I haven't overcome it. Like, I am so insecure with my body or like anything I'm doing, but I think in a way that if you're going through a hard time, it's like the best thing you can do is make sure that anyone else going through that doesn't feel as lonely as you did. So try and take it as I know how they feel, and I want to make sure that I can be that person that's there for them through it. So in the end, like, there's not much I can say other than at some point there'll be a positive that comes from it. There's always a silver lining, and it might just take a while to get through it, but it's so hard when you're in that bit. Like, I moved to school because of it. I couldn't go to school. I missed class. I did all this stuff, and it was like so hard for me. So
it's not a big choice. I mean, I definitely don't take the other route of become the bully and make fun of everyone for all the insecurities you have yourself.
Well, you see, it's funny you kind of say that, because even like on a similar sort of vein, like when I was in high school, I think I was like probably like third year sort of thing, maybe like second year actually. I was like, I wasn't very popular, and I kind of like, I didn't really have like a big sort of group of friends at that point. I had like a few that were kind of mates that I still have now, but it was more like I used to be like a total swot in school, and I was quite a goody two shoes anyway. But I remember, like, in an effort to kind of be more accepted by like the cooler kids, if you will, and to be kind of just to be a bit more popular, I remember like deliberately getting things wrong. It sounds really like big-headed, but like but like, you know what I mean, like the third year, second year of school, like, wasn't that hard. It was quite like task kind of thing. But I remember deliberately getting things wrong and trying to fit in more and trying to be like, do that just so that the people, I now look back, I couldn't give a fuck about them, but like, so that they would like me more and I would be seen as less of a, because you're kind of seen like an outcast if you're just like a swot and you're just getting everything right, and you know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong, as I got older, I was definitely not able to do that in any way, like to be effortlessly smart, but like, like for first year, second year high school, I was just like, I was just found school easier, but I definitely did do that. And looking back, like, I don't know kind of thing, like, because obviously it's shaped my life, I suppose, because maybe some of the friendships that I did make were as a result of making that choice. I don't know. I mean, I like to think I've got good friends now, like, you know, that's not built on, obviously, it's not built on lies kind of thing, but I'm like, if I was to go back and like not do that kind of thing, would it change a lot? So that was like,
that's why you have to ask yourself, because I sit there and say the choices you made, people don't give enough credit to people in high school on how hard it is, and you trying to fit in is like part of the navigation, and like you making those choices and learning from it, and then becoming you now. I think
you're a product of your mistakes as well as your successes, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the other thing is that when I kind of like relate to that, I kind of lost a bit of who I was because I didn't know for so long what people liked, and it was like trying to find out what people would like about me, but also what I would be happy with being in the like now still. And it's quite interesting because it's so easy to become a bit like, what is it, like a mold, like whoever you're around, you fit what they like about you. And it is, I think, at the end of the day, it's so important to remember what is important to you, so what morals you have.
There's a
And,
certain
like,
amount of that, I think, though, that's just natural. Like, for
Yeah, for
example, you know,
sure.
some people are slightly different around, like, you know, say friends from home, friends from work, that sort of
And
thing.
your
Like,
parents and whatnot.
yeah, there's like a certain amount
Yeah.
of you, like, you know, changing anyway depending on who you're around, but that's just influence. But yeah,
But I think changing to get people to like you
Yeah,
is
that's
like
not,
the negative
yeah.
part.
Because at the end of the day, it's still you, and it's not you trying to be someone else that you're having to consciously think about
Yeah.
to try and impress them or get more votes or whatever. It is like literally trying to become water and just fitting into whatever container you're thrown into.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, it's so trying. And this is why I've developed 12 personalities to cope with every single situation. Because I have no idea who I am. This is why I hide behind the mask.
nobody cared
And
who
the
I
microphone.
was until I put on the mask.
It's so true.
What's
It's
the
mad.
What's the game part?
Oh, we're getting onto that. I actually feel like my insecurities are almost non-important, to be honest. I think.
Why?
Well, not to get into any deep ones because I feel like this isn't long enough. Definitely need a pod episode for that. But I think one of my biggest insecurities that a lot of my close friends know about is my nipples, which it does spark humor for a lot of people, but. I know it sounds silly and a lot of people don't understand it, but it's one of those that during puberty, it's like, I've looked into it and it's, the official name for it is like gynoplasty, where it's like you get a sort of, it's almost like a feminine trait when there's too much, estrogen around the body when you're going through puberty. And basically you get inflammation of like the nipples
Yeah.
around areolas,
That's
that's the
nice.
one. And essentially when I was younger, I was a little bit chubbier and I didn't really know what a gym was, so it's a lot more prominent. I just basically had man boobs, and growing up, that's always just
Boobs,
kind of
if you will.
boobs, and you know the jokes always prevail, and that kind of stuck with me for a while. And every now and then, I'm never happy with like, even if I try and get like pecs or do bench or anything like that, I'm never happy with the way it looks. I think they look too big or too prominent. When I wear shirts going out, I always try and wear shirts to cover it up. Even went to as far as getting tape for it at once. But it's, it's kind of something I try and take in stride when people sort of make fun of it or whatever. Or, I know, I got big prominent nips, it's fine. I can cut glass in the winter.
You just
I-
got to own them, you know?
Yeah.
I was just going to say something. There's actually something that I didn't bring up that actually relates to that a lot. So I have like a stomach thing, and it's like a stomach condition thing. And for so long, like I would not wear bodycon dresses, not wear specific things going out. I would have like in the morning have a plan for the whole day so that I could go out at night and feel comfortable. Would never. Sometimes I would get so upset about it getting ready that I just would end up not going out, letting people down, feeling so self-conscious about it, not going to the gym because of how I felt. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have my Finsta, but like frequently because I get so ill from it, I have to just go to bed, like, and I'm in bed for the whole day. If I go out for a meal in the morning, I could be in bed till the next morning. Nothing fixes it. And it's like knowing it literally controls your life, like how you feel about something, like a bit like your nipples. You're deciding, all your decisions are based on how it's going to look, and it's
for
so
others,
it's crazy how much it can control you.
It's weird how like 80% of your life can just be taken over by one small
Yeah.
thing that everyone else can overlook and just be like, oh, don't
Yeah.
worry about it, it's fine, you barely notice it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you don't know how much you're inside your own head, and it's all
Yeah,
about
for
perspective, I guess. Try to understand others' perspectives.
For me, even like going on like, for you, it's probably like even going swimming or something, it's probably like a big thing. Whilst for me, it's like going on a holiday with like my friends or a day trip away is something I am still trying to figure out how to do and feel okay with it. So, or even going to uni for all day. It's just something we're all trying to learn about and trying to cope with
I
ourselves.
need to first learn how to swim, and then I'll get conscious
Okay.
about
True, you are a terrible swimmer.
that. Yeah.
Hey, tread water, that's
days.
fine.
I can't
Oh, you
even
should
tread
see him
water.
trying to tread water.
Oh my
It's
God.
hilarious.
It's not elegant.
I'm better at swimming than treading water. That's
Yeah, Rob tried to. It's basically just like he just kind of just flails his
Oh my
limbs.
goodness.
I don't understand it. People are like, do this, and I'm like, I am doing this, and it's just sinking.
I just keep sinking.
And it's just like, yeah, okay, make it look easy, whatever. But no, that is pretty much try and overcome your insecurities. But what you were talking about, the mental health game, I'm going to put in a little slot wheel type thing
Okay.
in the background.
Okay, go ahead.
Essentially, it's this game that when we look at the medical professional, we're looking at physicalities. We've come strides, bounds. You break a leg, people got a cast for you. People can put on anything and fix your bones and whatever. But when it comes to mental health, I feel like we haven't actually taken it seriously until the last 20 years. God forbid you were diagnosed with bipolar in 1990 or 80, to be honest. You'd probably just be thrown in asylum because people thought you were crazy and just slap you with as much morphine as they can to calm you down. And I feel like it's just not changed that much for the mental health, especially in America. Depending on what assurance you have, they'll just sit here and be like, so what mental health disorder do you have? Spin the wheel.
Anxiety.
Personality disorder. Throw the dart, and then they'll be like, okay, let's see, what medication are we going to prescribe you for the rest of your life? And Oxycontin. There we go. It might have the side effect of you craving heroin, but you know,
Or becoming really depressed, and it's like that is another mental health.
yeah, you've
disorder.
got 3 additional things to worry about now. But you know, like your anxiety's gone, so
Yeah. I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
fine.
I was on. I was just gonna say that it's so funny because as much as you know, it's important that people realize that they are what they're struggling relates to something, and there's a sense of what is causing it. I think the other thing is that it's not forever. Like a lot of it is that medication. I went on anxiety medication for a while, but it literally put me in bed all day and night, like for like the amount of time I was taking it. And it's knowing that, you know, the best thing you can do is try. I mean, there are cases where you need to go to the doctor and like get that little bit of extra help, but self-help is the first and foremost most important thing, because when people sometimes are diagnosed with like anxiety or like depression, they cling on to it a lot and they're like, that is defining me now. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. You can overcome it to an extent as much as possible, or learn to
I think
handle it.
a good way to look at it is you can learn to live with it and deal with it a lot better, and it does become a lot smaller, and it becomes a lot less of something that controls you to a point. I think as well, you know, people, as you're saying, the self-help is very important. You need to do what you can to sort of alleviate symptoms of it and such as well. And you can reach a point where you kind of, you know, forget that you have these things, but there is also absolutely no like shame, and you shouldn't shy away from if you feel like, you know, if you are struggling. I think there's a good thing to even consult like a doctor or whatever else, because they can then advise you like what they think as well, because there's no shame, there's nothing wrong with getting medication for things as well. For example, sometimes you can do all these self-help things and they will help a bit, but sometimes you just need that little extra to kick you and to push you in the right direction, kind of thing, especially at a time like this when there's, you know, bloody pandemics,
COVID, Brexit,
things going on all over the shop,
world disasters.
I think that's it. It's important to realize all the environmental factors. So I mean, like, as much as you can say, oh, it's something to do with me, it's like so my family, like, I'm going through a really hard time. Just there's a lot of stresses coming from my environment, uni, my family and stuff like that, and it's like all that actually takes so much out of you, and it's like it's so important to realize how much you're dealing with at that time, and how to give yourself a bit of slack as well, and say, even though you might not feel like you're going through a lot of stuff externally, it does take its impact on you as well.
And I think it's like important, as Neil says as well, just look at medication as that booster that you need to be yourself and find that method that will help you in the long term.
Also, there's hundreds of different like medications for different things. Like I know Rob was saying earlier on, like there's, you know, there's some stuff where it is just like, you know, you feel like it's a bit of a wheel spin, but like for various different conditions there are lots of, like, if you for example were to go on like an antidepressant, there's like various different types that you can go on. It's like the first one you go on you might not like, it might not help you, but there are other ones and you can still try more and more, and you know, ideally then they make you feel better, and most times they will. Like that's the thing. I've always said, you know, you never hear stories or in the news or anything else that are about people who just have, you know, mental conditions and then will get on with it and kind of make the most of it, because that's not newsworthy. All that you ever hear about are the bad stuff, and
all
that's
the depressing
thing.
nature of everything.
That is the kind of thing. So it's trying not to get bogged in with that and think that it's, you know, this is it and it's just going to get worse from there, because that's the thing. The point is people just doing their best and people just carrying on and managing stuff fine don't make the news.
Yeah.
They're not interested. They don't feed the kind of toxic news feedback that we're fed. So
I think the other thing is that to realise that, in life, everyone's main goal is to be happy and just to enjoy whatever time they have. And I think that,
Wow.
if you need to...
and
but
to
that's
have
the
an
thing, if
successful
you need
podcast.
I was gonna say, like, they come here
Have
to
a
listen to
great
good
podcast.
stuff, but I mean, my main goal in life is to make other people's life chaotic and
Yeah.
a mixture of miserable and
That's,
happy.
you know,
It's
and you're fulfilling that.
chaotic
That's
neutral.
great.
You know, I like to poke the bear and.
Oh
throw
my
some
god, I
honey at
love
it.
what was it? The moral alignment. Me and my friends have one for boys.
Yeah.
We place boys in a moral alignment chart.
Well, I'm definitely chaotic neutral, regardless.
Yeah, we've placed
Have you
people.
placed us like independently, or I don't
You're
like to hear-
definitely chaotic, and I think you are chaotic evil because you like to just stir the shit. You're also not a fuckboy because like chaotic neutral is a fuckboy who just kind of like rugby boy kind of lad. You kind of know what you're
Fair.
getting, but they're also a bit crazy. I think you're lawful evil, or like a neutral.
Aren't these like Dungeons and
Neutral?
Dragons alignments?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I have no idea.
I think it is.
yeah. It's
Oh,
the
they
moral alignment
just
is part
came
of-
out with it, and I was like, okay, we'll just place boys, and it went really
Throwback
well.
to the last
You know, it's
EP.
so funny how easy it is to like literally compartmentalize boys.
Oh yeah,
Brilliant.
it's weird. They're very simple creatures.
Yeah.
Lawful evil, chaotic evil. Apparently, you heard it
Nah,
here
I
first.
think like Neil's like a maybe neutral, or like a lawful.
I don't like to think I'm evil. I like to think I'm not
I
evil.
think you've got a bit of a maybe you're neutral. I don't know.
I don't know,
I
'cause
don't know. You've
some
got
of
a bit
this-
of an edge.
Some of the stupid stuff I do, he finds funny, so that's what
Yeah.
makes me think.
But you're going to be a teacher as well. That's like really lawful good.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, but you got strict teachers, so
Yeah.
That's if the
Lawful evil.
podcast doesn't ruin me first, because
No.
Rob gets me cancelled.
Well,
right. I think this will lead nicely somehow. I'll just be like, segue, and then
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need a.
This is the lamb
Where's the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
Right here.
Oh, fuck off you fat useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
okay, this is going to be our final topic of this episode. It is down to Vic's segment. I don't know if you want background music on this. We can play something subtle.
I don't think you should.
No, probably not. I think it's something that we should probably just... I'm going to let you take this however you will. I think me and Neil are just mostly going to be reactionary. Okay. Yes, Neil, you can open your donuts right now if you want. You can do it quickly. I'm going to point it out. He's got an 18-pack of mini donuts.
and he's gonna eat all of them.
Right,
Funny
no,
one.
so I bought them for...
I mean, Vic can't eat them,
Well, of course not, she's in her bedroom.
and I'm
Yeah,
not
of
eating them.
course.
Of course not. You're in
Well, yes.
You're in your house. But hypothetically, if we were in the same room, then Victoria wouldn't be able to eat them because she's gluten free, which I would have forgotten, and you could.
Yeah, but
There's no
my body
chocolate.
is my temple. What?
Anyway, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Right, so we're going to
them.
play the shut up time. And
Yes, we are.
Donuts, really? Rao?
I just wanted one.
Okay, one. I was just saying this is a rather very
One's
poignant topic.
There is. I don't know why you had to bring up the donuts.
Right. I swear we're not trying to make this comedic in
No, I know, but I feel like you've already done it.
No, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, so am I.
Victoria,
Shut up, Rob.
Take the...
Okay, so I think this is going to be mainly... So I think people obviously know what I've been through the past couple of years, but my main point is that I wanted to tell the whole story.
Yeah.
And then kind of from that, I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts on grief, and one of them I literally listened to on the way here, and it was like something was just so nice that was said, so I'll say that at the end. But basically, so in 2017, so my dad worked away in the Congo as a subsea engineer, and so we would work on and off, month on, month off, and it was in November he went away for his what was going to be his last shift before we actually moved him to possibly Norway with my mum. And on Boxing Day, so that month that he was away from November to Boxing Day, he had experienced a lot of headaches, like really exhausted, that sort of stuff. And we put it down to heat exhaustion. He went to see a doctor. That was what's happened. Then on Boxing Day, he passed out. And again, we put it down to heat exhaustion. Prior to this, 5 years before, my dad had kidney cancer, and it was stage 4. and they found out it spread to his vein, so they removed the kidney and the vein, and literally was in hospital for 2 weeks, and then went straight on to his shift in the Congo again, like sort of
hell.
like just the trooper that he was like, I need to provide for you guys, and
Yeah.
I can't just sit around. Also that year, my uncle passed away from a heart attack, and then over the next couple of years, my grandma had strokes, and my dad's mum, my granddad, passed away. So it was like a really hard couple of years for us, and to be honest, to see my dad, the hardest thing about my granddad was like seeing my dad struggle through it. He didn't have a great relationship with his family, but he was always there for his dad. And my dad saw my granddad for the last time, went away on a plane, landed in Congo, found out from my mum. Mum just phoned him and was like, your dad just passed away whilst you've been on the plane. And my dad was like, okay, well, I need to do this month of work and then I can come home. So it'd been a rough time. Flash forward to 2017, sorry. And yeah, my dad passed out. They took him to hospital in the Congo, and they were like, okay, again, I'm not sure what it is, we'll do a scan. They did a scan, and I remember I was in my flat with my boyfriend at the time, and my mum phoned me and they were like, oh, so it's a cyst. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but I just burst out crying, and my boyfriend took the phone and he was talking to my mum, and he was like, hung up the phone, and we were like, okay, we're gonna go and do something to just take it out on. So we went to the gym because it's like my one stress relief.
I feel that.
We went along, and it's so funny because my dad phoned me when I was in the gym, and this is actually the last time I got to speak to him. So he phoned me in the gym and he was like, I heard that you were upset. And I was like, yeah, obviously I'm just thinking of you and wanting you to like be okay. And he was like, I'll come home. Like he was like, I'll make it, like, don't worry about me, and they'll be able to handle it, it'll be fine. And I was like, you've literally just found out that you've got to go have surgery and that you have a cyst, and you're phoning me to make sure I'm okay. What the hell?
Strong man.
I know. So basically a couple of days later, he was actually supposed to fly home on the 29th and then be back for New Year's Day. And I was getting ready. No, actually it was like the 30th or something. And I was getting ready, and I was like, I knew my dad was flying home that night. I was getting ready to go out for New Year's Eve. And I got a missed call from him, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, he just messaged me, and he was like, just message mum. And mum phoned me and she was like, Dad's not coming home, because they found out if he gets on the plane, he literally was on the plane, and all these police and ambulance turned up and took him off, and they were like, if he had went on the plane, it would have hemorrhaged and he would have passed away. So they took him to hospital, and he had surgery on like the 2nd of January, and we had already decided we were going to fly out, but we could only afford 2 people to go. So my mum flew out with my brother Lewis, and they flew over whilst he was in surgery. Got there and went into hospital straight away, and he was up talking, and they actually found out in that surgery it was a tumour, and because of that it was like 13 hours of surgery, and the next day he was up talking to them and laughing and stuff. And my mum found out that my dad before surgery was talking to this other guy in ICU and said to him, my wife is coming over with my son, make sure she's all right. And that man came over to my mum, and like whilst my dad was still in theatre, and was like, and his wife also came over, and they were like, Stuart told us to come and look for you. And
Yeah.
it's like how much you love someone even though you know you're going to go through surgery.
Yeah.
So yeah, those next couple weeks were great, because it was like me and Ryan were home, and we were like finding out, you know, he's doing well, he's got this infection, he's fought it, he's doing well, he's up talking, all this stuff. I had still not spoken to him. And then one day, it was actually when Beast from the East hit, or Beast from whatever, hit. It was like, I was at lunch with my boyfriend at the time and some friends, and I had like 5 missed calls from my auntie, and she called me again when I realised, and she was like, you need to go home right now. So I got picked up by one of my uncles, driven home, and me and Ryan sat there, FaceTime my mum, and she was like, so they've just found out his brain has started to swell. And I was like, okay. And it was like, basically from that, they needed to sedate him and try different things to make him okay. And they were like, basically the next 24 hours is life or death. And I was like, okay. So I stayed at home with Ryan, and we sent I remember sending voice notes to my mum for them to play to my dad whilst he was unconscious. And then we made the decision that week that we were going to fly over to Africa. We flew over, and I remember seeing him in ICU, and it was the most difficult thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was like a different person. And every day walking down to the ICU was like heartbreaking. Like, it's like someone took my breath away from me. Like, I fell to the floor most days. Like, I couldn't actually handle it. And then they kept bringing stuff up to me saying like, okay, the doctors were saying, we need to do this test. And I was like, do it if it will make him okay. Do it. Like, I want it to be happening. But I didn't understand what it was. I found out it was a brainstem test because I did a little bit of research when I was there. And basically the brainstem test is to assess whether someone actually can function off of life support or not. So basically whether they're dead or not. And once I found that out, I was like, okay, that's going to have to happen at some point. And it got to like Sunday, and me and my family had many discussions about it. And that whole time, my dad was not awake. I had not spoken to him. He had not responded to anything I did. So I didn't know if he knew I was there. Then we let the doctors do a brainstem test, and basically found out that day he wasn't there anymore. And they were like, we can keep him alive, like on the machine, or, you can make a decision to switch it off. And my family all agreed we didn't want my dad to suffer anymore, so we switched it off. We were all there, and I can't even explain how difficult that is to sit in. And then next 2 weeks I was in Africa dealing with like moving my dad's body, like home, moving us home. And funnily enough, this happened from he'd not been home since November to January 28th. He'd not been I hadn't had any contact with him from then to January 28th, and then he died. And then we did not get home until like a couple weeks into February. So that was all Christmas, my birthday, Lewis's birthday, all that stuff. And I got home, and it was the first year I'd bought my dad like a present by myself. And I got home and I had to like open that up and like open up. So my tradition in my family is we don't have Christmas until everyone's in the house. Yeah. So if my dad's working away, we wait till he's home. So all the presents were still there. Yeah. All the decorations were still up. And then we had to deal with like funeral stuff, and that took forever. And his funeral was like in February. And it was, I'm not going to lie, like that was all difficult. And that time I actually don't remember. It was like a whirlwind of, I don't know when things happen, and it's hard to place the timeline. But then I got back, and it was like my uni were like to me, just catch up on what you've missed. And then they were like, we can't give you, they were like, we can't give you a counselling appointment until like 2 months or something. And I was like, okay. And I tried to work through it. I like literally worked, like didn't sleep, tried to catch up, and then made the decision to move uni. But basically, it's like, I listened to this podcast today, and there's a lot of things I've learned, but one of the things is that people need to realise, like, when you lose someone like that who's so close to you, like, sorry how brutal it is, but the only thing certain about this life is that one day you will not be here anymore. And I think whether that be tomorrow, next year, like when you're 80, you really have no, like, control of it. And it's, like, realising that death is not something to not be discussed. I think it's like such an important fact to know that that's going to happen to you, and to make whatever time you have here so worthwhile. And it's taken me so long to come to terms with it, and I'm still learning, and I'm still dealing with the fact that my dad's not good. I'm only had 20 years with him. And it was, to be honest, the bullying ruined my relationship with my dad and my family, because it was like that really, I was so self-conscious all the time that I just struggled to like myself. And the only thing my dad wanted the whole time he was here was for me to like myself. And I'm trying my best to do that for him. Now, I think that's a great thing to like have as a driver. But yeah, knowing that, it's not something to be scared of because it's going to happen. It's trying to make sure that when that happens, you've lived as happy and as like successful in your own way and as meaningful a life as you could have.
It's making sure that you've
before
lived
then.
and not just been alive.
Yeah, I think that's it. And it's like so easy for people when I obviously find that people don't really want to talk about it because it's like it hits so close to home, or like people are like, I can't even imagine my parents not being here. But it's like when you actually sit and think they're not going to be here anymore, or I'm going to be all on my own, my family won't be here anymore. It's like that's going to happen.
It is a hard
and you
conversation.
I think it's like everyone needs to just face up to it because it's a fact of life, and it's a beautiful fact of life that one day you'll leave something in this world. But it's just, please do not let someone who's like going through a grieving time feel guilty for bringing something up.
No.
Yeah.
Because
That's the last thing you want. And at the end of the day, you carry on your dad's legacy just by trying to live up to what you think he might have wanted from you. And it's just a whole journey.
Yeah. No, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I listened to that podcast before when she was saying stuff like this, and I was actually tearing up. Like
Mad. I'm not surprised.
I'm sorry. Like I've been thinking about how to tell the story and stuff, and there's so many things I'll leave out, or there's so many things I won't say. But it's like when you get into it, it's like how emotional I can be. Like I don't really show my emotions much, but it's I don't know. It's a beautiful story in a way.
I feel like that has really touched me, that story. And that's just I just fucked me up. It's just that Edinburgh Uni, I'm gonna call them out for being such shitty fucking people to not even like have any ounce of humanity to
I'm
just.
gonna say as well, like the beautiful thing that's come from all this has happened is that Edinburgh Uni have changed. They've made a wellbeing centre and stuff like that. And the government,
George Square, is that? Yeah.
the government have invested £20 million, the Scottish government, into mental health support after my campaigns came out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is
That's
that
great.
I've heard from 2 girls who've actually lost their dads in the past year, and we've now like been meeting up, and it's like it's so nice because they're like coming to me and they're like, it's so nice to have someone there. And I'm like, to be honest, I've had 2 years of no one knowing what the hell I'm going through. And to have a girl, as horrible as it is, to have someone who actually you can sit and be like, I can be there for you because I've been there in that position
You
2
can
years
both
ago.
relate as well. But
Yeah, it's like, that's almost beautiful. It's like a shit club to be a part of, but you have a community. It's so weird, but yeah, it's true.
That is some of the good silver linings that can come of it. It's just that.
The positive impact that you can have on maybe someone else who's going through something as well.
Hopefully listening to this, someone can actually appreciate the things you said. It's been holy shit powerful. I'm lost for words for once. Fuck, I just want to give you a hug after all this because I can see you're tearing up and I'm like, my dead soul's tearing up as well.
well, what I'll do then is I'll thank everybody for listening. This has been quite the episode. This has been quite powerful, and I think it's been a real journey. But I hope everybody enjoyed. Rob, anything you'd like to add?
You know, to tie in with what Victoria said, it's the little prep boy in me that learned Latin way back when. Just memento mori, always remember death.
Yeah,
it's not something to be afraid of. It is something that we should acknowledge and carry with us.
Yeah.
Victoria, anything you'd like to add?
I think I just completely agree. I think just, make your time here as meaningful as you can.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, embrace the day, people. And with that,
peace out.
we digress.
We digress.
So, yeah.
That's it. We'll close up there. Fuck me, man. Honestly.
I thought I'd take it upon myself